Good morning. Some Calgary cab drivers like the idea of allowing bars to extend last call and stay open a little longer in our city. On Monday, Councillor Ward Sutherland will make a motion asking the mayor to send a letter, an urgent letter, to the province to allow bars to serve until 3 a.m. and to stay open until 4. The idea, of course, is meant to help ease the late-night taxi crunch in Calgary. Sutherland's hope is people will trickle out at staggering times instead of all at once close to 2 o'clock. Checker Yellow Cab supports the idea of a later last call because they believe it will alleviate some of the pressure and make getting a cab home a little easier.
We support it, Councillor Sutherland's motion. It's because it is a social issue and everyone needs to stand up and be accountable for the part, and by extending the hours also makes it easier for the drivers to get everyone home safely at the night, which is the end goal for everybody.
Talk of reviewing the province's liquor laws surrounding closing times has heated up as of late since bars were allowed to open early for the gold medal men's ice hockey game during the Olympics last month. A city council committee has reaffirmed a $10 million promise for a proposed Calgary film studio. Proponents of the multi-million-dollar facility in our city, officials estimating the studio could generate as much as $300 million in economic activity and create up to 5,000 jobs over the next 7 years or so. The province is kicking in $5 million. It's budget day in Alberta. We're expecting to hear today Finance Minister Doug Horner announcing an improved bottom line on the operational side of things. That, of course, thanks to higher oil and gas prices. Oil, by the way, trading at just over $101 US a barrel.
We know that oil and gas prices are up and the Canadian dollar is down. That means more money coming in to the Alberta government. And so it's got more money to spend than it did with its last budget. And so I don't expect to see, certainly across the board, cuts.
Finance Minister Doug Horner tabling his budget at 3 o'clock this afternoon. He unveiled a new twist on the tradition of delivering the budget in new shoes. As you can see, Horner is keeping his old shoes, but he's showing off 3 pairs of tiny sneakers. These little sneakers are for his grandsons. Horner says these shoes represent how today's budget will renew the Redford government's pledge to build the province for future generations. Making news overseas this morning, one lawmaker in Ukraine's Crimea region says we will decide our future ourselves. A referendum will be held on March 16th now on whether Crimea should become a part of Russia or stay part of Ukraine. Pro-Russian forces now control access to the Crimean Peninsula and all Ukrainian military bases that have not yet surrendered. Scuffles break part of Russia or stay part of Ukraine. Pro-Russian activists armed with pepper spray started attacking pro-Ukrainian demonstrators who were leaving Lenin Square after a rally. Now in Paris, high-level diplomatic efforts to resolve the crisis making little apparent headway. Moscow and Washington are at odds still, and Russia's foreign minister refuses to recognize his Ukrainian counterpart. It's not good. The foreign ministers have agreed to hold more talks in the coming days. Meantime, several countries, including Canada, are going ahead and imposing sanctions against Russia.
We will be imposing economic sanctions on members of the Yanukovych regime, and I'm also announcing that we're suspending our participation in a joint economic and commercial commission with Russia.
North American markets stabilizing as they continue to monitor the standoff between Russia and Ukraine.
BT's Market Report is brought to you by RRP, specializing in engineering, procurement, and construction management. Rapid Response Project, where every project matters.
Playing with Barbie could limit how girls view their career choices. That's according to an experiment conducted by an Oregon State University researcher. Girls ages 4 to 7 were asked to play with either a fashion Barbie wearing a dress and high heels, a career Barbie with a doctor's coat and a stethoscope, or a Mrs. Potato Head with accessories like purses and shoes. A little while later, the girls were asked what careers they could do. Out of a list of 10, the girls who played with either Barbie thought they could do fewer jobs than boys could do. Girls who played with Mrs. Potato Head reported nearly the same number of possible careers for themselves and little boys. Researchers say while the results do not mean parents should throw out Barbie dolls, parents should be making sure kids have different toys to play with, not just exclusively the Mattel Barbie dolls. There you go. That's your news. 6:41. Heading back to